And we're back again. We got our clap and shit. Everybody ready now?
I got the clap.
We got it. Okay, so what does everybody want to talk about? I kind of want to dig into this whole drawbacks of superpowers because everybody, when you just think about it blindly, you think how great it would be to have superpowers.
Oh,
like
I've
super
always wanted
strength, all that
superpowers.
shit. It's like everybody wants superpowers.
Well, yeah.
But, I mean, let's look at it as...
The practicality.
Yeah,
of
the
it all.
practicality of it. And actually, you know what? If we just thought about it enough, we could narrow it down to the most practical superpower to have.
Well, yeah.
I
mean, the only one that would actually work, and of course our technology isn't far enough ahead, but the Iron Man suit is the only way you could feasibly fly. Like, as far as, without freezing to death or suffocating up in the upper atmosphere, this and that. That's really the only way you could do it, because if you and I'm just talking about
that's just flight.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like flight with no other, no durability, no ability to fly in space, nothing like it. Just the simple act of being able to fly. It would suck.
Could you imagine trying to land too?
And then you'd also have to could you imagine like Superman walking up and having to file a fucking flight plan with the FAA? Because you would have to, otherwise they would shoot you the fuck down.
Or I accidentally ran into this jumbo jet.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, forget flight plans and all that shit. Let's say Superman wasn't as durable as he was and he's flying and he lands wrong. He's got to file a fucking disability form.
Yeah.
Oh, my ankle.
I mean...
It's like, what were you doing when you did this? Funny story.
Because while at the same time, being able to just hover, say, just above houses and going about the speed of a car, I mean, that would be a complete game changer. But
power lines.
But that's not nearly as...
I could clean my gutters.
But that's what...
Easy peasy.
Okay.
I take that one hands down.
A practical use for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's fine. But it's not... But that's not very cinematic. You know what I mean? It's not...
It's like, gutter cleaning is not going to get you on the big screen.
I just see...
But it will make you some spending cash.
Yeah, that's a fucking side gig.
Yeah, you could paint houses for a living.
It's like, I don't need ladders or equipment. I can just hover up there.
Change light bulbs to street lights.
And that's what
I'm going to enter
though,
creative mode.
But I mean, when people think of flight, they think of flying, 5 miles up in the air and then, shooting down to fucking Rio de Janeiro or something.
But as we've just established, the most practical use of flight would be like the special person who does odd jobs around town for pocket change.
Just cleaning your gutters.
It's like, need your gutter clean? Woo.
Or you getting a cat out.
It'd be good for perch snatching. Fucking flying over houses.
Kind of, but you're only hovering so far, so you're not going to get away from him. I mean, it was just...
And if you could,
he's right there. Wait till he comes down.
But even so, if all you could do is go, say, as fast as a car, because again, if you go anywhere faster, and plus a lot of people don't realize, like, with these super speeds, the one thing that the Earth is covered in is fucking bugs.
God!
So imagine going somewhere in the air.
Didn't that Disney movie touch on that though? The Incredibles. It's like the super speed kid. He ran through a fucking and got a face full of bugs.
Oh, yeah.
But the
It's
thing
like a spider web or something.
is when you get up into these fast speeds, even something with as little a mass as, say, a housefly would punch through your fucking skull at that speed. Like, say you're going, I don't know, 2,000.
That's why you got to get the right suit.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Is Iron Man is the only feasible way you could do that, because
I hit a skeeter on my bike at like 60 miles an hour.
It hurt like hell. Right?
I thought I was gonna die.
I thought you said a skier at first. I'm like, whoa! I've not heard this story.
Well, I was in a lake.
Well, I wanted to do some off-roading at snowshoe.
So obviously, flight is out. That's not a practical superpower.
No.
And as you just said, super speed. But what you touched on earlier about the whole, every time you hit a certain speed with super speed, you would cause sonic booms and just start blowing people up around you.
No, it's not even that. I would have a heart attack with super speed because
yeah.
I get winded walking from here to the street.
I
if I took off at like 200 miles an hour.
I got winded standing up out of my chair.
But even beyond that, because you would have to have such superhuman perception that it would drive you insane. Because when you think about, if you could, like, just for instance, like if you had the speed of the Flash, you would have to be able to make decisions so fast that in essence you could take one single moment out of a day and stretch it out to infinity, meaning your perception, your mind would be going so fast that just having a basic conversation with somebody about the
I gotta
weather,
tell you, this sounds exhausting.
it would drive you
Talking
insane
to
because
people.
your perception is you could see everything around you, you could notice everything around you, and everybody else relative to you.
There are much more practical problems with that.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Like you got the super speed. Even if you can turn it off and move like a normal human being, which would probably be difficult. It'd probably be like holding your breath or something. Like, let's say you're fucking, and
God
Just
damn,
a friction
you
alone.
fucked through the bed.
set her on fire.
but when you get all excited, it'd be hard to do that.
Yeah.
Hold your breath the motion. So yeah, you'd be starting fires.
Yeah, I mean, just and even something like again, speed alone, the sonic booms. Like in the comics, Flash, whenever he goes fast, he cuts into some dimension called like the Speed Force. That's kind of his cheat codes because it only affects him and it doesn't affect everything. So he can like run through a crowd really fast and shit. But that's cheat codes. In reality, you'd be going around like blowing everybody's windows out, just
Which would be funny.
and you'd see
What are
cars
they-
flipping over.
What are they going to
or
do
you-
though? You're gone. They can't catch you.
Yeah, but
Well,
how could you be a hero?
if you're trying to get through that crowd, though, you're going to come out with broken limbs and shit.
And
Okay, you know what?
And-
I just had another thought about sexual problems in regards to superpowers. The ones with super strength. Let's just assume that Brody was right on Mallrats and Superman, say, blows a load like a shotgun.
right through her back.
Like, say, well, okay, I'm just looking at it from more of a comical point in that he's giving it to her and he blasts and she goes through the wall.
Or just think about it from this: if he's hitting it from behind and he just
She's going fast first through the wall.
Pops her head
but
right
not,
off.
no, not even that. If he's trying to hold on and he just splits her apart like firewood.
Like, wow.
Because he gets excited and he just loses control of his his strength and he just rips her in two. Like,
So obviously we've
Or shatters her pelvis.
yeah, exactly. Like just basically turns her into a fucking putty.
So we've eliminated flight as a big time power. That is a only practical if it's used for cleaning gutters. Speed is super speed, no use for that whatsoever. Very little use for super strength because the muscle coordination that you would have to have for that. It's like you get drunk and fight somebody in a bar.
You put your fist like in the movies. You see the superheroes and they punch people across the room and shit. But if all you had was super speed. Super strength. Like if you tried uppercutting somebody across the room, they go across the room. That's true, but just as the
Molecules.
Laws of, the laws
Until your hand bones are coming out your elbow.
Well, but the laws of laws of energy, equal and opposite reaction. You'd punch them across the room, and then you'd drive into the ground like a stake. And that's if you didn't flatten yourself because say you're standing on concrete.
So would that mean you won the fight or they did?
I think it's kind of a draw.
Yeah, we call it a draw.
Nobody ever
But-
wins a fight.
Well, no, because if you punched them that hard, like you said, your arm's probably shattered. They're dead.
But yeah, they're dead.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, I'd say you're the winner.
You're the winner because
You're going to the ER, yeah.
But
There-
also,
There's a practical superpower.
You can only do that once, though.
but
Yeah.
super strength too. Just going about your normal day, like say if you're picking something like a glass of water up, right? Just you're so used to just doing it that you just do it and you pick it up. But if you had super strength, you just immediately crush it. Or opening a door, you'd rip the door off.
Or if you have your alone time and take your sleep medicine, as I like to call it, you'll rip your fucking dick off.
Exactly. Like,
through the fucking ceiling. It hits the kid 2 towns over in the head.
and that's what I mean.
What
And-
the fuck?
Here's the thing, though, is that if you do that and you know about this ahead of time, then I would say that it's super useful because you go into that and you're like, okay, I have to be, extremely conscious for like the next year, getting used to how I have to, not destroy my household objects.
You can,
And that's essentially know your own strength.
I'm not going a year without beating that thing like it owes me money.
well, they kind of sort
You
of
collect once.
I had my vasectomy and had to wait like 4 days, and I just couldn't handle it anymore.
then you first time you did it, you like fucking painted your bedroom.
Yeah. Actually, I was supposed to wait quite a while, but I made it 4 days. I was like, I haven't gone 4 days without hitting it since I was like 10.
God.
But yeah, like again with super strength, even something as simple as lifting a car couldn't do it.
Like it's just insanely. It's not practical.
Your
at all.
hands would punch if say a car is going off a bridge and you're trying to stop it, like anybody who's ever jacked up a car knows that if you don't put that jack up underneath the axle, like it's just going to punch through the fucking the car itself.
Well,
Same thing.
Also, if the super strength is just your muscles and not your bones, I mean, you're just going to shatter every time you touch something.
Even if you could grab, say, you were trying to stop a car, your hands would just go straight through the car. Again, assuming
giving high fives to the driver and the passenger, so they at least die.
Yeah, but you would just hit, and then it would
having a good time.
But there's just no practical unless you had the only feasible super strength. I would say it would be something like Captain America, who has maybe like
he has enhanced. I wouldn't say
like
super.
hauling bundles of shingles up a ladder.
No, he does. He can.
We can go into business together.
Exactly.
The odd jobs.
But he can lift somewhere like, I don't know. The comics are all over the place, but I think mostly he lifts about
They're all over the place.
2 tons would be roughly about the most, and without again destroying everything around you. And
What about Spider-Man? He has the proportionate strength of a spider. I mean, wouldn't that be?
He does, and it talks about in the comics how he pulls his punches so he doesn't explode people's heads.
Fuck pulling punches.
But that's exactly what you would end up doing if you did just get in a basic fight. You'd punch somebody's head off.
And I mean, just think about the drunken stories you could hear on the news then. He got wasted and got in a fight with 6 guys at the bar. 1 punch through 5 guys' heads.
And oddly enough, like if you're talking about something like invisibility, invisibility wouldn't work because the way that we see is photons of light, go into our eyes. That's the only way we can see anything in our world. So if you were completely invisible, the photons of light would have to bend or somehow move around you, so you couldn't see anything. So, or if you cut it out, like say for instance, like Harry Potter, where he's got that cloak or whatever, and you would have to cut eye holes out.
I've never watched Harry Potter.
And then all you'd see is two
Twitter thing all over again.
floating eyeballs walking around.
Is it because you support the trans community so much that you won't watch Harry Potter?
No, I just have no interest in Harry Potter.
I don't either.
Let me guess. I haven't watched the Black Panther movies because of something involving the black community.
They weren't that great of movies.
I've just never watched them.
The invisibility thing, I mean, that would be all well and good until you go to take a shit and you see through your lap and you watch it come out of your body, and then you throw up and you see.
To be fair, that would be cool once.
But it's
if you think about it though, it's the straightest superpower because you're literally, if you're going with, particles coming into your eyes, that's how you see stuff.
Photons of light.
It's like in that instance you are literally inside of another man, and if you're invisible, then you're not.
Why would I be inside of a man?
I gotta be
because of the light particles. You pay attention, Shane.
Wait a minute.
The light particles.
The light particles went through another man to get to my eyes.
Yeah.
The light particles put me inside another man?
Yeah.
Well, because
if they bounced off him, that just means they bounced off him and came back to me. I didn't penetrate him.
But from
your light particles did.
Oh, okay. My light particles.
Mm-hmm. But
that's what I call
that's
them,
the
too.
reason.
Why do you think
Look
it's
at him.
called...
Do you think there's any light particles?
Yeah. Look at this shirt. Oh, my God.
But
why do you think they call staring at something gaze?
Huh. Well, he could be right. Okay. Because light particles apparently are no longer straight.
And then
light particles make you gay.
Well, then
That's what they call Bud Light drinkers, too. What's your point?
From invisibility
See, a light.
and super strength, then we could go to teleportation.
Well,
Wouldn't want that either.
Hold on. What have we eliminated? Flight, super strength, super speed, invisibility.
Yep.
Those are all impractical.
No,
unless you can like find a fucking odd job use for them. Gotcha.
Teleportation would be cool until you don't calculate like the rotation of the Earth. So like I'm gonna teleport over there. And next thing you know, the wall is splitting your head.
Well, no.
into-
Here's the thing with that is that I assume that with teleportation, it'd be the same thing as when you're like driving down the road and you're like tossing a baseball. It's like you're moving with the Earth, so you're just like I'm going from here to there.
But no, the thing is.
But what if somebody walks in your fucking line of sight? It's like,
Well, realistically.
now you just entered another man.
Well, realistically, what they were talking about is theoretically, because it is, they have put the theory forth in physics that wormholes exist. So, in theory, like teleportation, I don't know how you familiar are with comics, but Nightcrawler, when he teleports, he enters another dimension and then re-enters Earth somewhere else, wherever he.
That just
looks.
sounds like a pain in the ass.
Well,
That's too complicated.
the problem is that the
I
Earth
wouldn't even bother doing
is
it at
just
that
exactly
point.
what you said. Is the Earth is in perpetual motion, so when you teleport and you go somewhere else,
Yeah, the spot
wherever
you
you're-
had picked out, it might not necessarily be there.
yeah, or something else might be occupying
Yeah,
it.
well, that's like
And
if you could do time travel, then the whole Earth ain't gonna fucking be there. Next thing you know, you're just kind of floating around dead in space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, you would also, going from one dimension out of a wormhole back into Earth, you would have to catch up with the Earth's rotation. So the second you popped out of your wormhole, you burn up.
So in all actuality, you have to prepare for where the Earth, the point you want to land on,
Yes.
might be.
You would have to do such insane calculations and math just to be able to do it once.
Yep.
Like,
Okay, I'm eliminating teleportation entirely.
Yeah.
Fuck
That-
math.
that's why instead of being a superpower, you make it a gift from a supernatural being. Where
sure,
it's
if
like,
you had a magic, sure.
yeah, like some magical creature or some demon or something comes like, yo, man, you want to teleport? And you're like, you gonna make sure I don't get fucked up? And they're like, yeah, sure, yeah, whatever.
Sure.
And you're like, okay.
But basically, all of these superpowers hinge upon other superpowers just to make them feasible.
Here is,
So
in
it's
my
kind of like
opinion,
the guy building Deadpool in that Wolverine movie. You got to find the right superpowers that don't fuck with each other.
Yeah, like for flight, you would have to have the ability to breathe in space. You'd have to have insane durability to not die immediately. Because the second you go up three,
How are you not all in this conversation? This is totally nerd stuff. You should be all on this.
I'm not into superhero stuff.
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
gigantic.
I thought
nerd.
you
You're
played
the
it-
worst fucking nerd ever.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd all the way around.
Like
so.
you're a half-ass nerd.
I can talk physics. I can talk science. I
Poser.
can talk comic books, whatever. But yeah.
Usually he can, but apparently all his nerdiness
Oh.
is relative to
Me.
questionable content on the internet.
ethnic slurs.
It's all about penetrating people and anti-Semitism.
It's like, yeah, it's just mixed metaphors and Holocaust jokes.
Bro, they got like a whole book about the Jews like penetrating people.
He had a good idea. But
Here's one. If I had to pick a superpower, I would just pick. Actually, talking about it, it'd probably be flying because even just be like, I'm gonna clean my
Well,
gutters.
the practical uses of low-level flight. Yeah.
well, no, even something again as simple as being able to fly, say,
I can
200
just
feet.
T-pose and fly across the parking lot and be
Yeah.
like, what's up, guys?
And if you could go as fast as say 70, 80 miles an hour, that's a game changer. You never need
Oh,
a
yeah.
car again. I mean, that would be feasible, and that would
They
be
can
helpful.
catch you on the
But-
radar.
I tell my kids to hurry up and develop their teleportation machine because I'm tired of driving their asses around everywhere.
Nice.
Well, what they found is scientifically they have actually been able to teleport molecules and such from one space to another. The problem with
it put us in the weird
The problem
timeline.
is they've never seen The Fly with Jeff Goldblum.
no. Have you ever seen The Prestige?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the problem with teleportation is because that comes into the aspect of what is a soul? Is it just chemical reactions in the brain or what is it? Because that you have to destroy whatever the original. So say like I step into a teleporter, I'm destroyed, but then an exact copy
Yeah.
is made of me over here. So
Soma's a really good game.
You know what? My
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
My problem with that movie was that
Not
once
enough diversity.
Okay, my other problem with that movie is that once he saw that he made a copy of himself, he now has an exact double of himself, so he can do the trick the exact way the other fucker's doing it. So why did he have to keep killing himself? Just take out the shit that keeps copying you and just use that one guy.
Well, here's
You can trade off.
Here's a philosophical question. Say that he had sex with his clone. Is that masturbation? Is it incest, or is it homosexual?
As soon as you
Yes.
mentioned that, I was like, this question's coming up.
Yep. Because I've always wondered. I've thought about it for years.
I'm not a homosexual, but I would definitely want to bang me if I had a clone.
Yeah,
I'm a good-looking fella.
Sounds
I
kind
feel that I
of.
could do better.
Thanks, guys.
Normally,
I think I could pull better.
You're not doing better.
normally I'd be like, that's kind of gay, but it is June, so I'll let it slide.
It's Pride
this
Month.
time.
We can
It's
discuss
also
that.
me.
That's what I'm saying. You know you're not going to tell anybody. So.
Because you're gonna kill him afterward.
Well, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, like I could kill another me. He's gonna know what I'm gonna do. Neither one of us can fight.
He's up to something.
This is
I
gonna
could.
take forever.
I have zero self-esteem. I would have no problem shooting myself.
That's when you're like, nobody. I've been on this planet way longer than you. I'm out of here.
You know what?
I got seniority.
I just thought of it. We're talking about the Prestige, Hugh Jackman movie. There, I think, could be a practical superpower, and that is Wolverine's healing factor. Like, find something where that.
Yes, but it would
You
also...
can't get drunk.
No, you can't. You can't get drunk. You can't get high. You can't...
But just
You
think,
can't get circumcised.
no.
Exactly.
Well,
The
if you're
Jews
already
can't.
circumcised
They
before you
can't
get
take
the
it from you.
powers.
Huh?
So, like, what
so
if
you're
you're
not born
circumcised
with the
before you get, you get circumcised, then you attain the power somehow. But it's like, I think the not getting drunk thing would be hilarious because you could go to any fucking bar and be like, I will drink every motherfucker in this place under the table.
Yeah, but you can't get drunk.
And then you
That's all right.
would just be drinking and pissing all night.
That's all right.
That would suck.
I'd do that with like pop. So
Again, I would fucking, it'd be like a fucking pool hustle.
If it was
I'd be like, let's do this shit. And first I'm going to be like, I'm going to take 2 shots and be like, whoa.
Yeah, but eventually...
But I'm lying, of course.
You're gonna go all beer fest. We're not that drunk.
They're not that drunk. Cheeky bastard.
here, back to what I was gonna say. If I had to pick a superpower that was not flying at this point, after the good points that were made, I would pick speaking to animals, just so that I could tell my cats to fucking be like, get out of here.
Just so you can
Shut
tell
the
your
fuck
cats
up.
to kill their own damn squirrels.
Yeah,
You can talk back to them.
the tables have turned.
Well, speaking of animals, like I always thought it'd be cool to like shapeshift like into another animal or something, and then you realize like, okay, I shapeshift into this dog, but now I'm a dog and have a dog's brain, and I'm not smart enough to figure out how to go
But
back.
what if you could do that?
I hope
and
there's
keep
some
your
white
brain?
woman to take care of me.
If you could keep your mindset, then that'd be great. But the problem is like, okay, you shapeshift into a fucking bear or a jaguar or a wolf or whatever. And then Jim Bob from up in a fucking holler, shoots you out of season and straps you to the hood of his car.
Like,
Shit.
didn't think that one through.
Because it was just, it goes back to like invisibility. Like the X-Files covered invisibility perfectly. Because this idiot
Wait, are we
wishes
back
for-
to invisibility?
he wishes
We're
for-
kind of jumping around.
Oh,
now.
okay, yeah.
We're all over the place.
We're
Yeah.
teleporting.
Yeah,
but,
we're teleporting back and forth.
But no, they covered it perfectly because this idiot wishes from a genie to go invisible at will. And the first thing he does, he strips all his clothes off because he didn't specify that his clothes could go invisible too. And he runs out in front of the street, and of course he gets hit by a Mack truck because the Mack truck can't fucking see him.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but that's what I'm saying is like the drawbacks to shit like that, or again, shape-shifting would be, I think there would be more drawbacks than there would be pros. Like it'd be cool if you could
So what you're saying is that guy turned invisible at will, looked out in the street, saw a delicious ham sandwich staring him in the face. He went to pick it up and was hit by a bus.
No, he was actually trying to cross the street to accost and probably sexually molest women.
I like mine's better. Mine's not just dark.
Because there was
Here's the actual best part is that in the competition, Invisible Man don't count for you, so that gives me and Shane an advantage.
Oh, shit.
Hunting the homeless.
If you can't see the body, I guess, I can't count that one.
You're just like, wow, there's
It's
just...
like, where the fuck did my ham sandwich go?
There's this large blood splat on the street.
Would it be blood splat, though?
If I could
Yeah.
turn invisible, I
The
could get the
outside.
cobras out of that bag real easy.
They don't see me coming.
He did. Then you grab them and they just bite you, and you're like,
It's like,
"Oh."
yeah, what if
oh.
you could just turn a limb invisible? Like, oh, my hand's invisible, and I go in. It's like, I can see that working out.
Talk about doing the stranger.
Ooh. It's like, like, this ain't that bad.
And
Here's another one that it's like I feel like would be good is just being able to breathe underwater.
I could see that working out, yeah.
but again, that would predicate the necessity of needing durability, because in order to deal with
To deal with the pressure.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
also, would you be salt water? Would you be fresh water?
I'd be freshwater. I'm just falling asleep in the tub and just not dying. That's all I'm doing.
Don't need no durability.
boring ass superhero on the planet.
After a long day of levitating up to gutters, I just want to come home,
He
take
just
a
wants
nap,
to soak.
and not die. See, just come home, get the hot tub going, and then just fully submerge myself in it.
I have a hard enough time trying to get my kids out of the pool if they could breathe under the water. Plus, every time you go to yell at one of them, he'll come up and be like, "Hey!" His head's back under there so he can't hear you.
My
If he ever
God.
has to come up, you could never holler at him.
This would be the funniest, fucking, most boring comic book. It's like, after fucking spending all day levitating 7 feet off the ground and cleaning gutters, I went home for a nice hot bath and was able to fall asleep because I have gills.
No. Okay, so here's the thing. How do we make the other ones mundane? Like, how do you make, like, super speed mundane enough that...
Like, if you had it to where, again, maybe you could run as fast as a car. Okay.
What-
70,
It's
80.
super speed, but you can just casually move as fast as Usain Bolt. It's not even, like, super
You keep
super
running
speed.
into shit.
Yeah, but that's the point. That's with the perception, because they talk about it in the comics how the Flash, his perception, like, is so, like, he can literally...
Your healing factor. You can heal from wounds, but it takes a lot.
Like, it takes 3 days instead of a week. It shaves 4 days off? Fuck yeah.
Yeah. You know.
My superpower would be no more back pain.
Well, that's healing factor.
Sure.
Yeah.
man.
Like,
Yeah.
But you
It's
wouldn't...
like, I get out of bed and give myself 3 cracks and I feel better.
But, like, I guess one that might be all right would be, like, some form of telekinesis. Like, you could pick things up with your mind, you know. I guess that wouldn't... That could... I mean, that mostly, and let's be honest, but that's not a power that especially nobody in this room ever needs to have. Because you
That's
just
it. I
fuck
could
with
not
people.
use that responsibly.
No.
Here's a superpower that I can use just as mundanely as Sean's using his.
You can use your telekinesis to lift the shingles up onto the roof to hand to me, so I don't have to. You know, I can
Like,
just
I
put
can't
them-
even just put them on the
I
roof
would,
with a hammer. I just lift
I-
them up.
This is kind of like Flash does with his super speed, but I would want to like be able to freeze time, but I would want to do that just so I could nap. Like, I'm gonna stop the entire world, take a nap,
That would
and then
actually
wake
be
up at
great.
the very second that I went to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd get so much shit done,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like my gutters.
Well,
As long as you can fly.
there's actually...
That's why I'm there. See, here's the thing: is that I'm just gonna come up to do the gutters. He's gonna freeze time and sleep, and then he'd be like, Shane. Oh, yeah, what?
What?
There's a show on Netflix that deals with that exact thing. Is a guy inherits this cabinet from his grandpa, and when he goes in, like, he has to unlock it with a key, but when he goes in, time is slowed down so slow. But the problem is that time keeps going while he's inside the cabinet. So he gets older, but everything else has... And he can be in there, like, because he's studying to be a lawyer. So he spends 4 days or, you know, a month studying to be a lawyer and whatever, but then he comes out and only like 2 minutes have passed maybe. So
Well, like if you
so he gets older and older.
along the lines of the aging thing, I'm no mathematician, but like, say 8 hours a day, that's, a third of a day, so a third of a year, like what, 120 days, give or take.
Yeah, give or take.
You know, like 120 days, I would age while napping.
Yeah.
On top of the regular things. That's every year.
Yeah.
That would add up over time.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is you would prematurely age.
You just have to use it sparingly.
Plus, spending 24 hours a day actually awake, that would age the
Is
shit
that
out of
what
you.
is that what happened to the guy who was his legal career was, you know?
Well, no, he ended up becoming partner at his law firm and everything, and he had a wife and kids from college and this and that.
And then he came out of the cabinet and
But-
everything blew up in his face.
No, what ended
Then he
up
came out of the cabinet and chose to be homeless.
no what ended up happening with him was the key. He needed
That's
a
a
key.
throwback.
He needed a key to get in and out of the cabinet. Well, he accidentally dropped the key outside, and so he could look through the keyhole and he sees his son like playing around and seeing the key, but time like picked up and he was stuck in there. And while he's sitting there beating on it, trying to get his kid to unlock
He was
it.
beating on it in the cabinet.
Yeah, beating the side of
We've
the
all
cabin,
been there.
trying to get it. And so he turns to dust inside the cabin,
Oh.
cabinet, because he lost the key out of his pocket.
Because
So
his
then-
kid won't fucking listen.
Well, it's because
Kinda sad.
his kid wasn't moving. His kid was just, because relative to him, the kid's not moving. And so the kid picks the key up and opens it up looking for his dad.
And he finds a pile of dust.
Yeah, and then he walks in there and then the kid fucking dies. So, it's
Huh.
it's why, like,
But
That's
you,
one does.
You would want to be able to make it start again, though.
So
Well,
superpower,
With no cabinet.
well,
a
but
superpower that honestly would apply to day-to-day life that would have helped them out a lot is being able to find your keys whenever you're looking for them.
and a healing factor because you wouldn't age.
Oh, and the healing factor, yeah.
Actually, just straight up not even like super healing, just the fact that you're able to just not deteriorate. That would be insane.
Well, they're working
Well,
on that now.
if you want to,
Yeah, but I don't got that kind of
if you
money.
want to
so I
give
don't know.
somebody else superpowers like the find your keys thing, I would give the power to find your fucking shoes to my kids.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
It's called the hide and go seek.
My son and his socks, where he just flings them in all directions. He has probably not worn a matching pair of socks in probably 6 years, longer even, I would guess.
That's the style, though. That's what the kids are doing.
Yeah.
See, kids didn't get creative with that. They just got fucking lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we can also give kids the superpower, let's call it the boomerang effect, where you put something back where the fuck you found it.
Oh, shit.
It's like,
There are
There
some
you go.
things that are just too far-fetched
Yeah, yeah.
for even this
Yeah,
discussion.
that's
fuck,
not happening.
is it too hard to get them to fly?
Yeah.
So how many gutters a week do you think they can clean out?
Fuck no. We're going to do supersonic speed before
Dude,
we're
that-
going to get that one.
Dude, see, that's one of the disappointing things about my neighbors is they have kids, but they're all
Oh,
younger
yeah, we
kids.
saw
I'm
them. We
like,
almost
bro,
ran over them.
Yeah. We almost ran him over.
Good.
But no, and then
You should get a really cool landlord. No kids, no women, no pets.
so
I'd love that landlord.
So we've debunked all these superpowers. What about being able to read people's thoughts?
I don't know
I don't
if I'd
wanna
want
do
to
that.
do that.
Here's
I don't
the
wanna
thing.
do
It
That
ha-
would be cool if you're like in a poker tournament or
Sure.
something. But
Yeah.
just walking down the street, just, who's
It
that
has
ugly
to-
motherfucker?
Yeah.
It would have to be something that you would have to like, not like a passive thing, because then then you just get like a bunch of background noise, and either
Yeah,
A,
yeah.
you go insane, or B, it's like I don't hear any of it because I tune it out. But if you had to like concentrate, like if you had to like sit down and be like really concentrate,
Yeah, I mean, if you could focus it in on one person.
Like,
at a
say,
time.
Mel Gibson in that movie where he could read women's thoughts.
What women want. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know if I'd want to because
No,
it's like-
because I don't want to hear some of the fucking.
I
They
would,
don't
out
think
of
a lot of me
sheer
at all.
curiosity, like, what the fuck are they thinking?
No,
Yeah,
you know, I would.
How
no.
does that thought process
Here's
work?
the problem. I don't want to hear some of the grotesque fucking thoughts of people. I don't want to be like walking down the street and seeing some like 14-year-old kid going, my grandma's got kind of a nice ass. Like what the hell? What the fuck are you doing? Yeah, I don't want to hear
It's
shit.
like, boy, I'd like to peel that guy's skin off and wear it as a hat.
I'd like to skin some Ewoks and make a trench coat.
I'd like to skin some Ewoks, make a trench coat, and then walk around sniffing everybody's underpants at the cantina.
I told you all that in confidence.
Well, guess what?
But that's all right.
Everyone
Nobody
does.
else heard it. It stays between us.
Yeah. What happens on the podcast stays on the podcast, sadly.
It actually stays in this room.
Yes. At least 30 people might possibly listen to it.
If you're watching this, you're in the room with us right now.
If we've
Yes,
got
you're a
nothing
part of
better
the
to
show.
do.
Feel free to call in.
If you're watching this, you may want to contact somebody because I'm pretty sure you don't exist.
Okay, I think we've wasted enough time. Did we get? We didn't narrow it down to what would be the most practical.
Healing factor. I mean, that was
Healing
odd.
factor,
It's
yes.
obviously flight.
Obviously, flight.
Yeah.
Well,
For odd jobs, obviously it's
for Miguel, the fucking gardener. Yeah, sure.
I don't have to be like, oh, hey, store person, can you get this off the shelf for me?
If,
It's
if
like,
we're talking about Mexican landscapers, I think if you could like your superpower is being able to take a corner like one of those 0-turn radius lawnmowers, that would be better.
Or if you could control the growth of plants, like poison ivy, like you know, like if you could just like so to where like if somebody's like, oh man, my grass is out of control, and you just go,
somebody's eating a salad and you're just like, boom.
If I could stop time and take my naps, I'd cut my own grass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you stop time just long enough to cut your grass.
No, I'm going to do that during regular time. All my time stopping is naps.
no, I wouldn't even do it with naps. I mean, that's when I would get like
You
work
get a
done.
superhero costume specifically
Like-
for that.
Plus,
Like essentially, you got a fucking
It's got
half-hour
like 4
pause
Z's
button.
on it.
but yeah, like if you had a that. But the thing is think of all the other shit. You got to have some imagination. Like, you know, you could put somebody's finger in their nose. You could pull shank them. You can fucking go rob banks.
Not while he's asleep.
I ain't gonna lie. Like the more I think about it, just the ability to just even if you can't move and you can just like pause and just like take a nap like standing. That's just
Like a
sounding
fucking
better.
cow.
That just sounds like better and better.
I want to nap standing up and bathe underwater
and clean my gutters.
and clean my gutters without contemplating.
Too bad Stan Lee's dead.
boring
He could get right on
fucking-
top of it.
Exactly. But think about the amount of time that you're on break at work and you're getting ready to go back and you're like, man, if only I could just sit out here for a bit longer. And then you're like, oh wait, I have the half-an-hour pause timer on, and then you're like,
So you
"Burp."
turn yourself into a narcoleptic with gills and a hovering ability.
But what if you have the
Yeah.
half-hour pause button, but you take a 32-minute nap standing
No.
up?
I wanna be like, I don't know if it's frogs or turtles where it's like you can just they breathe through their skin. I don't want gills. That'd
It's
be
frogs.
Yeah.
Oh
And then
my
maybe
God.
too, I can drink a lot of water and pee on me if people try to pick me up.
That's your defense mechanism.
Exactly.
Who's picking you up?
If everybody's
Nobody
paused,
after that. Ain't
Somebody-
nobody picking me
Somebody
up.
will pick you up once.
Here's the thing, Sean. You don't need like frog powers. If somebody tries to pick you up, piss on them. You can do that now.
You're not always prepared.
no superpowers needed.
It's like, who's the guy laying on the floor with covered in piss?
He tried to pick me up.
Sean has been asleep for half an hour.
I keep forgetting I don't have the nap power. I just fall asleep for half an hour.
Yeah, he's got narcolepsy.
What if you fall asleep when you're upright, when you're flying, with like
It's like he's getting the gutter.
a handful of gutter goo in your hands?
Then you wake up.
That's why I need Shane there. He can just use his telekinesis to just grab me on the way down. He's like, ah.
Oh my God.
And then he'll take a half an hour.
How the fuck have we gone this long with this shit?
It's good. It's good content.
I agree.
Okay.
But you know what? I think we've kind of. I don't think we've reached the end of it. We're gonna have to touch on this later because I know we'll come up with more shit. But right now we are out of time, so well, we're gonna say goodbye on this one. See y'all later. Thanks for listening to our bullshit. Bye.